Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to another exciting edition of RCW Late Nite Wrestling right here on KAIT TV8 Jonesboro. Going to be an exciting week of professional wrestling action. We're going to see in his debut with Ringside Championship Wrestling, all that Alan Steele going one-on-one with Dangerous Dan Matthews, a young man from the Nightmare Ken Wayne School of Professional Wrestling. Also, we have tonight Dynamite Seth Knight back in action. Despite being defeated in the first round of the RCW Heavyweight Title Tournament, Seth Knight, not deterred, he's going to go right back into action against Justin the Juice Smart. All this and more on Ringside Championship Wrestling. Hey, tell you what, I'm going to look at my watch. Time is ticking. It's time to get to the ring. Let's go to All That Alan Steele versus Dan Matthews right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ringside Championship Wrestling. Introducing first from Memphis, Tennessee, ladies and gentlemen, All That Alan Steele. And you heard the introduction of Dangerous Dan Matthews, and prior to that, the introduction of All That Alan Steele. Brian Thompson at ringside here again with you on RCW Late Nite Wrestling. Should be a good contest, as you're going to see a veteran who shows no respect to young Dan Matthews.
Keep the camera on me. This guy's not worth the film.
Oh, wonderful. All That Alan Steele saying keep the camera on him because Dan Matthews is not worth the film. That remains to be seen this week on Ringside Championship Wrestling Late Night. Both men trying to jockey up and lock up, and they did, as All That Alan Steele goes to work on the left arm and shoulder of Dan Matthews. Lots of great action this week on RCW. We will see later tonight Dynamite Seth Knight back in action as he goes one-on-one against Justin the Juice Smart. Be our first chance to see the Juice. Alan Steele now reverse that hammerlock. He has control. Oh, keeps Matthews from reversing it. And a second time in. Oh, look at that disrespect. I think the fans are even yelling at Alan Steele, not liking what he's doing. Oh, wipe the sweat off your brow. Very good. Wonderful. Tell you what, Alan Steele better not take Dan Matthews lightly because Dan is still under the training regimen of the Nightmare Ken Wayne School of Professional Wrestling located in West Memphis, Arkansas. That school has already turned out two great athletes, 3G Eric Wayne and Kid Nichols, and a third one who's actually injured right now, but Greg King Jr. has a bright future ahead of him should he make his way back into the wrestling leagues. And Dan Matthews, I tell you what, he will be too a great graduate at some point in the school. What you have to do at the school, you have to go through a couple of years of training. You actually get into the wrestling industry, you compete, but you are not labeled a graduate of the school until you complete a 1-hour match. And I have no doubt in my mind that Dan Matthews at some point in time will go and compete in his 1-hour match and will become a graduate of the school. Alan Steele now with that side headlock clamped on hard. Matthews is able to shrug it off, but there you go. Look at the power of All That. 243 pounds from Memphis, Tennessee. Thank you again, wrestling fans, for joining us wherever you are. Whether you're staying up late with us, whether you set your VCR or set your DVR, or watching us on YouTube, we thank you for joining us. And we let you know that this is professional wrestling on KAIT TV8 Jonesboro. Accept no invitations. When you see Ringside Championship Wrestling, you know you're seeing the absolute best that this sport has to offer. And you're looking at a couple of them now, a rookie in the form of Dan Matthews and a seasoned veteran in the form of All That Alan Steele. Side headlock by Steele as he clamps on again on the head and neck of Dan Matthews, trying to wear his man down. Matthews able to break out of it, but floored by a shoulder block once again. And Alan Steele, he's very proud of himself. Up and over. Leapfrog though by Matthews. Oh, and it took too much time to turn around and pay the price for it. Up and over though by Matthews. Look at this hip toss. Very well executed. A scoop now. And a body slam hard by Dangerous Dan. And a clothesline. Oh! And that I don't think wrestling fans is what Alan Steele expected at all. Look at him. Looks like he might have seen a ghost. Look at that fan there. He's got his fist clenched. I don't know if Alan Steele wants to go forward or backwards. Yeah, now Alan sees him and says, wait a minute, Papa. What you doing here, my man? Again, thanks to all the great fans who came out last Saturday night in Augusta, Arkansas. We had a great time, great action, some surprising situations that happened involving in the tag team main event, Midnight Gold against Premier Brutality, and then a post-match situation involving our Executive Director of Wrestling Operations, Charles Casino Kid Mosier, and Golden Boy Greg Anthony. And we cannot show that to you this week, fans. We'll have more on that next week, and actually the footage will be released and we can show it right here on RCW Late Night Wrestling. And again, if you want to see wrestling at its best, you tune in on Saturday nights at 12:30 when Ringside Championship Wrestling is on the air and Dan Matthews brings all that Alan Steele back into the ring. Goes to work with a kick and a knee to the midsection. Now Irish whip. Oh, and he set his head. He got a glancing blow. I think it caught him on the bridge of the nose. Just kind of shocked him there. Oh, but look at this. A back body drop by Dan Matthews. He's excited. Now the referee's getting in on the action. Wait a minute. Alan Steele has the referee around the waist, and the referee's mad about it. Tom Simon doesn't have a problem getting in there and roughing it up if he has to. But right there, Alan Steele used that situation to his advantage. He pulled Dan Matthews right in the turnbuckle and might have taken advantage this time, and I don't think he's taking this rookie lightly anymore. It's a nice vertical suplex by all that Alan Steele, a man who has a history in this area. He has been seen on wrestling promotions. There's a group known as, I believe, All-Star Wrestling in the area. In Arkansas, he was a big-time star there, as well as his time in Power Pro Wrestling and Memphis Championship Wrestling when it was affiliated with the World Wrestling Federation. So Alan Steele is a veteran that has played at a high level, and that's why he's here in Ringside Championship Wrestling. This is the next level in professional wrestling, and he is here with us, and we're glad to have him on our roster. May not always disagree with his tactics in that ring or his philosophies in life, but you cannot deny the talent of all that Alan Steele. Irish whip hard into the turnbuckles, and Dan Matthews falls. Matthews, again, as I mentioned, comes from that great training at the Nightmare Ken Wayne School of Wrestling, and he is going to have to use everything he learned there to combat Alan Steele, who drives him, his head right into his knee, and Steele now telling the referee count. 2 count by referee Tom Simon, and Alan's kind of questioning that count here. But I can tell you what, our senior official Tom Simon, he doesn't have to take a back seat to anybody. Matthews pounds away at the midsection now, forearm from Dangerous Dan. He's feeling a little bit of that energy from the crowd. Oh, and a small package! Kind of surprised me there, as I'm sure it surprised Alan Steele, and now he makes him pay for it with a clothesline with authority. Alan Steele and the referee starting to have a little bit of words there. That's not going to work in Alan's favor. Alan's starting to zone in and work on his man. What is this going to be? Sides, a backbreaker, very well done, and a painful maneuver. And Dan Matthews, you can see holding that lower back, those kidneys. That does a lot of damage to you, trust me. I've seen many athletes have a back injury and never be heard from again in the world of professional wrestling. Now drives him down hard with a neck breaker. Look at Alan Steele. Impressive here this week on Ringside Championship Wrestling, making his RCW debut. 2. But again, give some credit to Dan Matthews. He's not going down lightly. He's going to fight. Ken Wayne instilled in all his students what it's like to fight, to claw, to scratch, to be the best you can in professional wrestling, as Alan Steele clamps on this rear chin lock and is just going to look at those arms. Man does not miss many days in the gym. He is in tip-top physical condition. and he is making Dan Matthews pay right now. You can hear the grimaces coming out of the mouth of Dan Matthews as he's hurting. But the fans, I hear some of them starting to clap, starting to rally behind Dan Matthews. They like this young man. He was out greeting fans before the show, so just a likable guy, a nice guy. But when he gets in that ring, as his name says, he can be dangerous. Drives a couple of elbows in. He's finally broken the hold. Now he gets the ropes. Owen Allen caught him with a well-timed drop kick. Very, very, very impressive. Again, fans, you can keep up to date with RCW online at rcwwrestling.com as Allen still goes for the cover. We're constantly working on updates. We also post the shows courtesy of our YouTube channel. We want to make sure you have every opportunity you can to see Ringside Championship Wrestling. If you miss us on KIT or forgot to set the DVR or VCR, we want to make sure you have access. We'll post them in the early part of the week following the original airing here on KIT. As Dan Matthews, now he's not thinking about watching the show, he's thinking about making a name for himself on the show with a couple of forearms, but now he and Allen Steele are in a world of reversals, and it's, oh wow, side slam by Dan Matthews. He was able to take advantage, and now it's prime time, perfect timing for him to try to make his way back to his feet and do something to Allen Steele, who is on a roll. Matthews and Steele both trying to get to a vertical base. As referee Tom Simon applies the count. Let's see who gets on top here. Both men are up at their feet at the same time. Steele hits the ropes, tries to punch. It doesn't work. It was blocked and then a forearm by Dan Matthews. Now he does it again. And a third time. He is laying into all that. Irish whip now. Catches him with a clothesline. Oh, look at that. Dan Matthews is fired up, folks. Irish whip. Big back body drop with authority. Going for a cover. Look at how he hooks the leg, too. That's one thing about a lot of rookies make that mistake of not hooking the leg. But Ken Wayne, I've seen sessions where the only thing he discusses covers and talks about how you hook the leg. That's how you win matches. Oh, Allen Steele put his head down. That's a mistake that I didn't expect from him. Oh, but he called Matthews. Oh, and drives him down hard. And now look at this. Looks like he has danger in mind. He's cinching in this submission hold. Oh, that's it. He taps out. And all that Allen Steele is victorious in his RCW debut. Tremendous victory for all that Allen Steele.
They don't call me all that for nothing.
Great things. You have some great things going on. JimCornette.com. Take a look at this right here, the official website of Professional Wrestling's Louisville Slugger, and you can find all kinds of merchandise. Of course, the greatest tag team of all time, bar none, is the Midnight Express, and Jim is actually going to sneak over here and show you what's available now. I have my copy. I have it autographed, but you can get yours right now at JimCornette.com. It is the Midnight Express 25th anniversary scrapbook. I tell you what, pictures. This thing is loaded with information. Look at the color, and it's all kinds of color. One of the nicest books, maybe the nicest book I have ever seen. And you know, everybody and their mama is trying to do a wrestling book nowadays. Show us one of those DVDs, Jim. I think we have one of those available now. Hey, I'll tell you what. Here we go. Right there.
Express the Lost Matches. 2-disc set, 4 hours of action comes complete with a collector's booklet for your viewing pleasure. That can be had at the low, low price of only $20 plus shipping and handling at JimCornette.com.
That's the place to go if you want all the great Midnight Express Jim Cornette merchandise. JimCornette.com. Thank you, Jim, very much.
Thank you, Brian, very much.
Thank you.
I can honestly say of all the wrestling programs I've ever been on, yours is certainly the most recent.
I appreciate that. You got to go to JimCornette.com.
Brian Thompson for Ringside Championship Wrestling. I want to talk about a situation right now involving the human highlight reel Austin Lane. Austin recently received an offer he couldn't refuse from another wrestling organization. Thus, he would no longer be a part of Ringside Championship Wrestling. However, all of us here in RCW want to wish Austin Lane all the best in the world as he takes on his new endeavor, and we hope it is a very bright future for him, and we want to thank him for his contributions to Ringside Championship Wrestling.
Wrestling fans,
go, wrestling fans. More great Ringside Championship Wrestling action as we have Justin the Juice Smart to go one-on-one with Dynamite Seth Knight. Should be exciting. All kinds of fun here between these two young men. Both men looking to make their way up the ladder in Ringside Championship Wrestling. Our first look on RCW at the Juice, who wrestles out of Sikeston, Missouri. And it's another chance to see Dynamite Seth Knight, who was actually in the first round of the RCW Heavyweight Championship Tournament. I think I heard Seth Knight say, "You're already getting on my nerves," so he'll have to deal with that as the Juice will bring it hard, as you see. Nice hip toss, deep hip toss, kind of an arm, actually more of an arm drag, arm whip type maneuver right there by the Juice. Seth Knight claiming to pull the tights, but obviously that was not the case. Kind of a psych-out process here. Seth Knight's been around for about 10, 11 years versus the 2 or 3 years of in-ring competition by the 22, 23-year-old Justin the Juice Smart. So he's going to try his best to outsmart him. But I think the Juice has been fortunate enough to wrestle for some pretty high-level organizations, although he says this is the place to be. As you see, a deep arm dragon twist, shades of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And Seth Knight knows he needs to get to the ropes and break up this situation as the Juice is on fire. Again, our referee, senior official Tom Simon, assigned this matchup. And now he has a situation where Seth Knight is just talking a lot of smack to his opponent in a shove. And the Juice retaliates with a forearm. Clean legal forearm right there, referee even saying so. Irish whip now. Oh, and a leapfrog. But Seth Knight, he's trying to capitalize on it. He's going to try a backslide here. Let's see what happens out of this. No, the Juice, he counters with a front face lock. And now forearms to the back. Drives the Juice back in hard. Shoulder blocks to the midsection. Irish whip coming up. No reversal by the Juice. Seth Knight up and over. Drop kick by the Juice. And a second one. And a clothesline up and over the top rope. And down to the floor goes Dynamite Seth Knight. And right there, somebody's got a real close ringside view. Juice now waiting on his opponent to get in the ring. Again, reminder, RCWWrestling.com. The place to go for all the latest news in RCW. Should be exciting when Ringside Championship Wrestling returns to Augusta Saturday night, August. Everybody's talking about August. There's a few guys, we were telling the fans about it live at the event. We kept saying August. It's April. Don't want summer to run away that fast as it took forever to get here, as you saw that boot to the back by Dynamite, and then a drop kick catches the Juice, who is in all sorts of trouble now. And Seth Knight, he is zoning in. He realizes that now, if he wants to be successful, he needs to drive in and take advantage. Rams the Juice head first in the top turnbuckle. And in the second one. And then just steps on top of the head of the Juice as he mouths with some of the fans at ringside. Forearm to the face of the Juice in the second one by Dynamite Seth Knight. Repeatedly now. Oh, and retaliation by the Juice as he fires away. Irish whip, no reversal. Oh, and catches him with that boot. That is one of the most devastating boots in wrestling today when Dynamite Seth Knight hits it. Goes for a cover. 1, 2. Now choking the man. Come on. Arguing with the referee, doing all kinds of dirty tactics, now stepping on the face of the Juice. Come on, Seth. You don't have to do this. Stomping the back of the head now, repeatedly, Dynamite Seth Knight. Still angry about that loss he suffered to Girl Candy Christian Jacobs that cost him his chances to be RCW champion, at least at this point in time. And we are winding down that tournament. Semifinals were held a couple of nights ago in Truman. Look at this, small package 1, 2. 2 count only. And Seth Knight measures him and levels him with a clothesline. That tournament, we're down to the final 2. If you want to know who they are, visit RCWWrestling.com right now for full results from that trimming card, and it includes the winners of the semifinal matches. One change of pace was, of course, Human Highlight Reel Austin Lane, no longer with Ringside Championship Wrestling, so he forfeited his spot in the tournament. His matchup against Bishop was overturned, therefore Bishop, technically on paper, is the winner of that match, and he went in and he faced Girl Candy Christian Jacobs, of course, due to our television time restrictions. We don't have the actual result of that match in hand or able to tell it to you right now, but online you can visit us, RCWWrestling.com. We do our best to update it there. And our good friend Brian Tremmel over at WrestlingRiotOnline.com, or the short address, RROnews.com. He always keeps it updated, so he should have some information up there as well. Dynamite trying for a submission here. I don't think, well, he actually has the arm pulled back in the hammerlock position pretty well, but snap mare there by the Juice, but it was still not enough. He wasn't able to get out of the hold, and then Seth actually kind of changed positions, went to a body scissors, and now front face lock pulling back. And Juice, wisely knew where he was in the ring. He got to the ropes, and that was small on his part. Seth Knight drives a foot to the top of the face. Dynamite looking for his first win in RCW, and so is the Juice, who makes his RCW debut here. Those vicious, hard kicks to the upper thigh area. Dynamite and Seth Knight are making their mark. Forearm shots repeatedly now by the Juice. Irish whip coming up, hard in the turnbuckle. Here he comes on, a big forearm, running forearm, and a clothesline. That, my friends, may be all sure. Look out here, here comes the Juice. Up and over, down on top of him. Drives an elbow hard, going for a cover. He may have him here. 1, 2. Ooh. 2 count only. He's saying, referee, come on, man, help me out here. Dynamite Seth Knight pulling himself up in the ropes. The Juice measuring him with a forearm. Connects hard. And a second one. Levels his man. He has something in mind. Looks like an Irish whip coming up. No reversal. Uh-oh. Oh, sour face silencer. He got him right there. 1, 2, 3. Now, I'll tell you what, very impressive from Dynamite Seth Knight, avenging that loss to Girl Candy from a couple of weeks ago. Dynamite that time was able to hit the sour face silencer. He's victorious. Again, your winner here in our feature match, Dynamite Seth Knight.
Brian Thompson back here on RCW Late Night Wrestling right here on KAIT TV8 Jonesboro. This time I want to talk about a situation that went down last Saturday night at the Augusta National Guard Armory in Augusta, Arkansas. It involved Midnight Gold, Beautiful Bobby Eaton, and his new partner, Golden Boy Greg Anthony. Their opponents for the evening were the big man from the Windy City, Kid Nichols, his tag team partner, a third-generation wrestling superstar, son of Nightmare Ken Wayne, grandson of Buddy Wayne. I'm talking about 3G Eric Wayne. It was a tag team match involving those two teams, and then later on things got even a little bit stickier as they involved our executive director of wrestling operations, Casino Kid Charles Mosier. We can't show it to you this week, wrestling fans, but we will have footage from that incident right here next week on RCW Late Night Wrestling, so we want you to set your DVRs, VCRs, or stay up with us right here 12:30 Saturday night, next Saturday night, to see highlights of what happened in Augusta last week. But right now, we did have a chance to catch up with Midnight Gold, a lot on their mind. They've had some battles with Hot Topic, talking about Derek King and Stan Lee, and of course, as I mentioned, the battle with Premier Brutality, 3G Eric Wayne and Kid Nichols. Right now, let's listen to what Midnight Gold had to say.
My name is the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony. And the man to my right doesn't need an introduction, but if there's anybody in this business that deserves one, it's him. He is the greatest tag team wrestler of all time. Beautiful Bobby Eaton. Now, as part of the Midnight Express, he won every tag team title that was ever in their grasp. But by 1991, Bobby Eaton was a successful singles wrestler. But he was always looking. He was always looking. He didn't know for what, but it was something. And that's when he saw me. He saw a brash young man claiming to be the best of the best. And that's when he called me up. He said, Greg, you know, I'm not satisfied with being part of the greatest tag team of yesteryear. I want to be part of the greatest tag team walking the planet today. And that's when the stars aligned. That's when the heavens sung, and that's when the devil himself sat up and took notice, because Midnight Gold was formed. And since then, we have proven to everybody that we are the best team. We are Tag Team of the Year every time we step in that ring. Whether it's Hot Topic, whether it's Premier Brutality, whether it's anybody that dares lace their boots against us, we will prove that we are the best of the best, I promise. And when we make a promise, it's as good as
Gold.
But hey, speaking of great things, you have some great things going on. JimCornette.com. Take a look at this right here, the official website of Professional Wrestling's Louisville Slugger, and you can find all kinds of merchandise. Of course, the greatest tag team of all time, bar none, is the Midnight Express, and Jim is actually going to sneak over here and show you what's available now. I have my copy. I have it autographed, but you can get yours right now at JimCornette.com. It is the Midnight Express 25th anniversary scrapbook. I tell you what, pictures, this thing is loaded with information. Look at the color, and it's all kinds of color. One of the nicest books, maybe the nicest book I have ever seen. And you know, everybody and their mama is trying to do a wrestling book nowadays. Show us one of those DVDs, Jim. I think we have one of those available now. Hey, I'll tell you what. Here we go. Right there.
The Lost Matches. 2-disc set, 4 hours of action comes complete with a collector's booklet for your viewing pleasure. That can be had at the low, low price of only $20 plus shipping and handling at JimCornette.com.
That's the place to go if you want all the great Midnight Express Jim Cornette merchandise. JimCornette.com. Thank you, Jim, very much.
Thank you, Brian, very much.
Thank you.
I can honestly say of all the wrestling programs I've ever been on, yours is certainly the most recent.
I appreciate that. You got to go to JimCornette.com. I'm out of here.